Good morning, MTSU. Welcome to session 2 of our all-day Canvas intensive, day 1. Hope you're hanging in there. Our second session is going to focus on the page tool and also help you understand how to add content to a item. Our last session just had you adding blank items. Now we need to start to fill in the blanks. So our session is going to walk you through exactly all the functions of a tool, or rather a set of tools called the Rich Content Editor that will help you add text, images, links, videos, all the things. So in our first part of today, we're going to take a look at the Pages tool. Inside of the course where you're working in today. And again, if you don't have anything here on this area, don't stress about it. I want to show you first where all the pages in your course live, and they live inside of an area called Pages. We do keep the Pages area hidden on purpose because students access specific pages in modules. So pages represents one of many drawers, like file cabinet drawers, where you store items in your course. So here is a list of all of the pages available in my course at the moment. If you don't see anything here, I want you to click on plus page, and you're going to work on that page here today. Okay? If you do happen to have something here, go ahead and pick one of your pages. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pick my home page for today to show you most of my work. Before that, let me offer you an introduction to this space. So a page is a one-way information vehicle. I can put on a page things like information about the course. This is a home page. A welcoming mat to the course where there is a summary to the course and buttons that students can click to go to that area, like announcements. A page can also be a reference point to add academic content. And I'll show you an example inside of my calculus class. Here is a page that has math on it. So I have written content. I have a simulation that I've linked here. I'll show you how to do this, where students can interact with it and start to learn and engage with the content. You can add videos, you can add your PowerPoints, you can add your Word documents. Here's an example of how images look. As you can see, they look great. You can also create a page just to let students have an introduction to the class. So here's a Unit 1 module introduction page where I have objectives and a to-do list with links. So students click on the link and they go to that assignment or that discussion or that quiz. And you can also have a page at the end of your module, like here, to offer students a conclusion to the module. So this is what we learned in Module 1, and this is what we're going to learn in Module 2. So a page is a way for you to put information forth to students, whether that's academic content or content you're using to organize the class for students. So all of those such pages live here, and they'll be listed in alphabetical order. You can also view when the page was created and the last time it was edited. And you also have here as well an indicator to let you know if the page is published or not. And if you ever need to publish, click on the little circle for it. If you need to unpublish and hide it, then click the check mark again to bring back the little circle icon. I've already shown you how to create a page, and this is blank, right? To be sure. If you need to delete a page, Let's say I want to delete this page. Choose on the three dots here and choose delete. Keep in mind, unlike in the module, this action is permanent. So you have to be sure you don't want this module copy page. So if you're sure, you go ahead and click that. If you need to delete multiple pages, I don't know, like these two pages, then you can check off both of these and go to the top and you could delete both of them from here. And finally, as a great time saver. Now, when you get resources from the Commons, you'll have items to duplicate. Here is a Module 1 presentation page. But I want to keep this nice and neat. I don't want to mess this up. So maybe I want to make a copy of this and then I'll edit the copy. So to duplicate a page, once it's listed here, click on the three dots and choose duplicate. And it brings over all of the great content so you can go to edit here and start to fix it up. Now, let's get into adding your pages into modules. I know you were all here 10 minutes ago, so you saw me adding items to this module here, right? Module 2. Let's say I want to add a page in a module. Remember, you can click on the plus button here, and in the drop down is where you can add a completely blank page, or I can add a duplicate. So you just look for the word copy. Because again, I don't want to add the original, I want to add copies. And then you're going to move that wherever it's supposed to go. Maybe it's here. And then I can go into the page and start to fix that up. If I want to remove it because I've changed my mind, right? This was a mistake. You have here in the three dots a way to remove it, which is not deleting it. It's just taking it out of the folder. And you can always access it back in the pages index later. And finally, if you need to make a duplicate from here, you can select the option for the page here and choose duplicate. So you could have multiple copies of a page, like I did inside of this calculus class here. This is honestly how I made these pages. I duplicated the graphic page and then I just fixed up the copy. So again, I did duplicate for that. All right, so that's how you can add pages to your course and also to a module. Now let's get into learning how to add content to pages. I'm going to go ahead and do that here to this presentation or content title copy. I want to put content on here, right? Learning is going to go on this page. So once I have access to that copy or that blank page, if you're using a blank page, I want you to go to edit here. And that brings you to the back end of this page. And this is where we're going to start to edit that content. All right, friends. So whether you are working on a blank page or a page you copied, I guarantee you want to fix the title. So I'm going to go ahead and call this Module 1 Exponential Functions or whatever content you want to teach. And then move on down from the page title and take a look at the options you have presented here. You have 6 menus. You have a couple of other drop-down menus that control the size and type of content you want to add. And then lots of formatting shortcuts live up here at the top. Most of these are self-explanatory. I think we all know what these do. For now, I'm going to, for me, because I duplicated this page, I'm going to remove filler content that doesn't make sense to students like this. And I'm going to show you that you can type in some content. You can also feel free to copy and paste. Inside the edit menu, you have cut, copy, and paste shortcuts listed to you here. So feel free to copy and paste from your other resource and, add your content here. You can also format your content too. So I'll go ahead and bold the term exponential functions. I can also take all of this text and enlarge the font because you have a drop down here. Choose 12 point or whatever size font you wish. Just keep in mind for folks that need such things, 12 point or 14 point is a nice size to use. You can also italicize or underline. And you can even add additional emphasis with color. Keep in mind your accessibility considerations. The greatest contrast is with dark text on a white background. So if I do want to modify the color of the text, I would just choose a dark color, not a light color. Your color options appear here in the dropdown. So test it out with, say, this purple color. Just be sure not to add any special emphasis on the meaning of the word purple. So in other words, the purple color shouldn't mean something specific. In the same line, you can highlight text. Just choose a light color like that. So at least it has great contrast with the highlighting. Now, if I have additional text to add, and I'll have to pretend that you can tell it has been a long time since I did any math. I can add additional sections. Here's an idea. If I want to add a new section called additional facts, for example, it's preferable to use this drop down here where you can use things called heading styles. In general, you want to go in numerical order. So if this is heading 2, the title here, then this should go and be heading 3. So this is a nice way to add an additional section. Type in your new facts here. And you can even separate one section from another with a handy trick. Right here in the insert menu, you have an ability to add a horizontal line. And it just adds a really subtle separation between one unit, like one section and another section. So adding text is easy like a word processing program. Now, if you want to add additional kinds of text, I want to point you out here to this side of this rich content editor, which is the name for this entire.
Helen, we've had a question in the class that I think is a good idea to share with everybody. That
Okay.
instruction blue bar that you have there, can you explain how you made that, please?
The truth is, I did not make it. The truth is that I obtained this page from the Commons. When I obtain a resource from the Commons, it gets copied. So I'm able to basically I guess, take all the credit from Lauren because she put the template in the Commons. Um, so the answer is I got the page from the Commons and then I made a copy of it.
Can you
Shall I
show
show?
the name of that template, please? Or is that just the overall course template?
It was the overall course template.
Okay, I'll walk you through that.
Yeah. I would love to take credit, but I did not make this at all. Any other questions about adding content so far while we're here?
I do have one question.
Um,
So I notice on the screen you're showing right now, the line that says Edit Module 1 has good contrast, but when you go back to the non-editing screen, it's lighter. It's not a good contrast of, see, it's kind of the Module 1 line is very faint.
This line?
I'm aware of this because I've been notified that I have in my upcoming class a visually impaired student. Uh, how do you change that heading Module 1 exponential functions to have high contrast?
I am not aware of a way to make the page title have greater contrast. I mean that I don't think you can make this bold, for instance.
So that sounds like inaccessibility is built into the, I mean, doesn't that
No,
make it the
no,
less
because
accessible to visually impaired students?
no, because the page title is a style called heading one. It's not
Uh-huh.
paragraph heading. So when the student using a screen reader accesses this page, the student is told the title of the page is Module 1 exponential function.
Okay.
Yeah,
So as long as the student's using a screen reader, it won't be a
correct.
problem.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Helen,
Yes.
Helen,
Hi.
how did you get that from the comments into this this page? You said you got the information from the comments. How do we export that or import that?
So initially, when I was preparing, I went into the Commons and I selected the MTSU Canvas course template. Sorry about that. And then I chose import download. And then I picked the course that I wanted to work in today, which for me was the dev shell. And then I chose import into course.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So Helen, I asked a question and I'm not sure anybody is okay. So she said they should be okay. When I first go there, it's asking me to authorize
Mhm.
Commons and Canvas to have access to all my information, given what just happened last week. Is this safe? Lauren says she thinks it is. Is it safe?
Canvas is safe and operational, yes. Mhm.
Okay.
All
May I,
right.
while you're taking questions, and this may be in the wrong place, so just tell me later. On the home page, that obviously you used one of the templates.
Mhm.
Do we have a way to customize that banner across the top, or are we only allowed to use whatever? I mean, can we put our own horizontal photograph in that
Mhm.
space?
Mhm.
How do you do that? I haven't been able to find.
Well, let's do this, Dr. Pruitt. Let
Okay.
me finish this a little bit when I talk about adding links, and then that's the time when I can talk about adding images. And then at that point, I'll go to the home page. So that should be able to answer all the questions there. All right, so if you would like to add additional information, such as links, the easiest way to do that is to access this chain link here. Now, this presupposes that you do have a link ready to use. Here's where you can add a link from outside of Canvas. So first, I'll go ahead and add just a bit of text. If you need it, here's a link to our textbook. So add some context to the link here. And then I'm going to locate the link that I want to add. All right, so I have it open here. And I've done this on my other monitor. So I have copied that link here, and I am going to highlight that text which should be the text that the student clicks to go to the textbook. And then with that text all linked is a drop down here on the chain link where I choose external link. And here is where I paste that textbook. And here is that text live. To add some additional emphasis, I like to add bold to this since I've worn glasses for 40 years. And that's how you can add a link to your page. If you would like to add another type of link, this is called a course link. And a course link can go straight to an assignment that's already built, or a quiz, or another page, or even to a different module. You'll go through the same process. So you'll add a link here. So for example, I'll say, go here to access the assignment for this module, for instance. If your assignment or whatever resource is already built, you'll again highlight that text that you want to be linked to the other Canvas item. Select on the drop down here, go to course link, and then you'll choose that item from inside the course that the student should access. So let's say it's this one. You should double check here to make sure that the assignment is published. Otherwise, it'll be broken when the student tries to access. So that's how you can add new links. Now let's go ahead and talk about adding images. So I'm going to go ahead and save this because I want to fulfill my promise to Dr. Pruitt here. And I'm going to show you how to add an image. You can do this inside the page you're building or whatever page you like. Dr. Pruitt was asking about the banner. What if I have a different banner? So again, I'll go into that edit area here. Just click once, just one time on the banner to make sure you get this light blue border around the end of it. And then you're going to hit backspace. It doesn't delete the image, don't worry, it's just going to remove it from the page. And now that you have some space, you're going to choose this image symbol right here. And you're going to choose, it depends on where your image is. If you have it on your computer, you can choose upload image, click the spaceship, and find the banner wherever it is. I admit I don't have one. But just to show you how this works, I'll add this exponential function. So now that I have it connected here, let's do this again. There it is here. I'll add some alt text to it. Or if it's something meant to be purely for decoration, choose decorative image and then choose submit. And then your new banner, or in my case, my graph, appears here on the page. And if you need to modify the size because it came in way too big, when you click on the image, you can modify the size under image options. So right here under size, you can pick a different size, or you can play with the custom fields, maybe modify the numbers you see here for width and height to modify the size. So just to show you, this is what medium looks like. But that's how you would add like a banner to your page or your photo to the page or an academic piece of content like this to a page. So I'll go back and I'll add that banner back. And because that banner is inside of course images, I'm hoping I can find it here, or I can try to search for it here. And then for everything that you do in the rich content editor, you will need to save. So I just switched that banner out to something new. So that's how to add images to pages. And we've talked about links. Let's go ahead and take a look at documents, and then I'll try to take some questions after documents. So I want you to click on the syllabus area. Here is an example of where you might want to upload, say, the PDF of your syllabus. Now, the syllabus here has to be edited. This is not going to make sense to students. So I'll click on the edit pencil here, and then I will remove the filler content like that. And at this point, like, by the way, if you feel like you want to, you can type your syllabus or copy and paste your syllabus. But since we're talking about documents, let me show you how you could add a document to the syllabus area. Right here is a little drop down. And here is where you can upload your syllabus. So I'll click on Upload Document. I can click on the spaceship like you just saw me do, or if you feel fancy, you might be feeling fancy today. You can actually drag and drop it. So I hope here you can see on my screen, I have a folder called MTSU. So I am going to drag and drop my syllabus, here it is here, to sit on top of the spaceship. So you can do a drag and drop if you don't want to search. And that makes two things happen. That makes the file go to your course, and that creates a link from the file to the page. So now I have it connected here. I do want to show you though, when you do this, it will make it appear as a link. So students would have to click on it to see the full content of your syllabus. And we don't have to keep on letting this spin because you can tell it's just going to try to load the syllabus up. If you don't like that version, it's fine if you don't. Let me show you a preferable way to make the syllabus pop up right away. So once you have created that link to your document, choose on the options here, and you're going to select Preview Inline. And you're going to check off Expand Preview by default. So here, now this is what happens. When I choose Update Syllabus, the whole syllabus pops up, and the students don't have to do anything extra to make this appear. Two other things, and then we'll leave documents. Since we're in the syllabus, let me talk real quick about the course summary. Once you have due dates and details filled out, students can access those items here. But I will say from experience, my students told me they didn't like this because they got confused. If you're trying to enforce using modules exclusively to access content, and I do, you may want to turn this off. So uncheck the box and choose Update, which also makes students focus on just your syllabus and nothing else. And one other thing here too, you see here that my syllabus right now is not even visible to students, which is not helpful. To make syllabus visible to students, choose the settings link in your course. And now go to the navigation tab. When you choose the navigation tab, move syllabus from wherever it is in the bottom table up into the top table. So in short, anything visible up here is up here. Anything that's hidden is down here. So once you have syllabus visible here, click Save, and now it's visible. Yes, great timing there, S. Marquez. Let me go over the syllabus option one more time. So I'm going to remove the link and I'm going to start over. So if I want to add that document, right, you have my syllabus open. The option you're going to choose here is the PDF option. It's the little page. Click on it here, and here's where you upload your document. So if your PDF is on your hard drive, click on the spaceship and find it to import. I'm going to go ahead and re-add my syllabus back because it's in my course documents. Now, to make this pop up so students don't have to click anything to make it appear, choose the link, and under link options, you're picking preview inline and expand preview. So you want these last two options to be showing, and then click done. And that makes it so that it pops up for the student. And when I was doing this with students, I always had it available in the syllabus and I put it in modules. I did both because, to be honest, I wasn't sure if students were ever going to access it in syllables. So I also put it in a module, like, but you do you. All right, so I'm going to head back into my exponential functions baby page and just give you a tour of other things you can add to a page. So well, this is a math class after all. There are additional functions to add content to the rich content editor right here. If you go right here, another line pops up, and this is where you can add equations. Anybody out here who's teaching math or science will want to know I can add especially formatted symbols here. So superscript and subscript, fractions. So as an example, here's how I can add 2/3 like that. You'll have to play with this. I know this does not apply to everyone. You can add Greek symbols, operators, all kinds of relationships, arrows, delimiters for computer science, and there's miscellaneous symbols like flats, no, sharps, flats, naturals, and other kinds of symbols live here too. And you can add combinations of symbols. And if you're conversant with code, you can directly manipulate the code for these symbols if you turn on that toggle. You can also add tables. So click on the table function either here or right here. So feel free to use a table to organize content like that. Put your headers and your content inside of each cell. You can also modify the size of each cell too, because everything can be clicked and dragged, and you can even control the size of the table too. Just make sure that you're using the table for content, so numbers and letters. Please don't use it for images. Images that are put inside of a table are not accessible. So use it for content. For, I think, most of us, you can add external apps like YouTube right here. If you're looking for something else, all other external apps are available to you right here in the dropdown. So you can see YouTube, but you can also see Studio, more on Studio later on today. And to get a full list of what's available, click on View All. There's H5P. I think someone was asking about that before. So you would access your resource of choice. I'll choose YouTube for this. search for a helpful video. Oh, that looks good. And I can embed it like so. Just be aware, although I've just talked about YouTube, if I were you, I would really come to that studio session because studio allows for you to track student watches. If you added YouTube, you wouldn't be able to tell who watched the video. So I'm just showing you that as an example of how you can add any other resource from these tools your admins have added for you. Now let me go ahead and make I'm going to make a deliberate accessibility error here. I'm going to add my picture here. New headshot. So while you're building, you may inadvertently make accessibility errors like the one I've just made. And I can tell because this accessibility symbol right here has just lit up, letting me know that there is one accessibility error. When I click on that little symbol, it leads me to the accessibility checker. And this directs me to fix it. So I'm told the alt text is the problem. I need to make this more contextual. So I can delete the alt text here, add in my preferred alt text, or mark it as a decorative image. So all of those issues will be listed there and you'll be directed to fix them one by one until you get to the balloons to let you know that all errors within the page have been fixed. And then as an additional resource you should know about too, we want you to build content directly within the rich content editor. Also because it helps all of your students access your content, not only with a screen reader if they have documented needs, but also for anybody that wants to use the immersive reader. The immersive reader is listed right here. And it allows for me to just focus on the page itself to even where I could have it read to me. I turned off the sound, so let me turn that back on.
Functions. Introduction.
You get the idea. So not only can I increase the size here, I can also change the theme or the font. I can change the spacing. I can change my reading preferences and focus on specific lines. I can even have it translated for me in one of many languages, and even have the content read to me in that language or go back to English. And all of this is possible because I have used the rich content editor to add the content. So wherever possible, if you have the energy and the bandwidth, I encourage you to enter that content in directly. Let me pause here for just a few minutes before we wrap up here. In terms of math symbols, Dr. Jones. So let's say I want to add some math symbols here, for instance, right here in the three dots. So I just clicked on the three dots over here. Right here, I can add that symbol. Actually, let me go ahead and answer. Let me go ahead and add a symbol here, 2/3. I'm even going to delete my picture here. Let's see what the immersive reader does with the 2/3.
Yeah, but 2/3 is just a basic fraction. I was thinking more of the more advanced specialized notation that we have, even in like trigonometry or pre-calculus or the calculus, just reading some set notation, reading domain and range notation, those kinds of things.
We can try this. It's been a while since I dealt with this. You mean things like this?
Well, yeah, that's still kind of basic, but that would be
I know.
interesting.
Let's find out. Mm,
1.6.
this is going to try to go through the whole thing. Can I have it start here? Or actually, let's do this.
Y equals 3x plus 1.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just a basic equation.
F of t equals 4.
I think you would have to try to enter those symbols in and then
Okay.
test in the immersive reader and see what it does.
Okay.
But the LaTeX that is used inside of Canvas is accessible. It uses a program called MathJack, so those screen reader using students at least shouldn't have any issues with the math and science symbols.
Okay.
You're right, it is basic.
With graph, well, and I'm wondering because even Pearson struggles with graphs and reading graphs with readers, with students that are
Hmm.
have some challenges. So, okay, I'll play with it.
Okay. All right, some last tips and tricks here for you before I let you go. We're on our home page right here. I do encourage you, whenever you're building your content out, to save as much as you can humanly do so. I know we're living in a world of autosave, and there is an autosave in Canvas. But here's why I suggest you keep on saving, even though you don't have to. Whenever you hit that save button, that is tracked. If you go to the three dots and go to view page history, every time you hit save means you can go back to that previous save point. So I can go back to how this page looked December the 2nd, and I can even restore it. That's helpful if you ever want to start over, like I can do here. I can restore that revision. Also, don't forget that inside of pages too, you can duplicate pages. Like here, so you go to the three dots inside the index and choose duplicate. And you can also send and copy pages. I know this question came up a bit. So if I want to send this to somebody else, I choose the three dots here and go to send to. And then I can send this to Lauren because I know she really wants it. So once she has it sent to her, she'll go to her account and go to her shared content area. So we'll pretend this is Lauren. She goes here and she'll find my page there and she can import that page into her course. And along the same lines, I can take that same page and copy it to a different course. So here's where I can put that into this course and hit copy. And it's a true copy. All right, friends. So it is 10:50 where you are. Are there any last questions before I let you go for a break?
Helen, can you show how to insert a horizontal line to break up white space in a page?
Yeah. So I'll do that inside of this page. So what we're talking about here is this kind of line. Let's say I want to add another line like right here, for instance. So I'm going to hit enter a couple of places. I'll choose insert, and then right down here is horizontal line. All right, I hope that's helpful.
Can you adjust the weight or anything to make it visible?
I don't think so unless you're willing to play with the HTML code, which is right here, by the way. If anyone's feeling comfortable with that, you can see if you can try to make that heavier of a weight. I'm not sure if you can. I'm not an HTML person. All right. Well, friends, I know we've had a busy day and we need a break for sure.